Good afternoon. It's been a while. So, if you've been following my post on flounce, so this is the B part of it. I couldn't make this as a write up, so I had to do a video on it. Which, in this segment in today's class, this video, I'm going to be talking about the square method. I said there are different ways to achieve a flare. You could use the circle method, which I've explained earlier, the circle, the square, and the spiral. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the square method. Now, if you look at the pictures on the screen, these are the different types of um, garments that I achieved using the square method of cutting a flare. So we often call it handkerchief flare. Yes, it's the same thing as the handkerchief flare. So I'm going to be showing you how you can achieve it. Now, this is a paper which I'm going to be dividing into smaller parts. Now, one thing about the square method is the M. The M must have a pointy look. Are you getting it? Now, let's say this is a fabric now, and I want to cut my flounce using the square method. I'm simply going to place it on fold. Now, you could use any degree, just as you do for the circle method. You could use 360, 720, 180, any degree. It depends on the fullness you are looking at achieving and what you just want to get as a designer. Now, I'm going to be working with the 360 degree. So, and you know that for the 360, I'm simply going to divide my waist circumference by 6.28. So, let's say when I divide my waist circumference by 6.28, I have half. And I'm going to place my fabric on fold like so. So, I've placed it on fold like the 360. And at this point now, I'm going to measure the half inch, which is the radius of my total waist circumference. So now, once I place it on fold, then from this point, I'm going to simply measure half inch, half all the way, half, half. And once you do that, you just, connect it like so to give it that arc. Now, the next thing is to decide the length of your flare. Are you getting it? Now, the pointy, the square flounce has unequal M. It has an equal M, which is what makes it to have that pointy look. Are you getting it? Now, if I'm using, let's say from here, which this place is going to be the shortest place, this place too at times may be the same thing with this place. This place is always longer. Now, let's say your actual length is 1. You can choose to use 1.5 or 2. Let me now bring it to reality now, because I'm working with an half scale. Now, if you are making it for someone which you want the actual length to be, let's say the actual skirt length is 25 now, and you want it to have that longer end, you could add 5 inches, you could add 2 inches to the initial measurement. What makes it different, what determines what you add to it is how pointy. Let's say you want it to stop at the knee and you want the pointy part of it to stop at the M, that is to the floor length, rather to the floor length. So you have to add more, or you measure the knee and you measure the full length so that you know what to add to it. We've measured half earlier, so now from this same part I'm going to measure. That means the shorter part of my skirt is 2.5 plus the half, so I'm to have 3. So this is my 3. Now at this other side I'm going to measure 3 as well, and this is my 3 as well. So now this part now is where the pointy edge is going to be. So if I'm using 3, I could add 1 inch and make this one 4 or more. Now I have 4.5, which I'm going to be sticking to. So this is my 4.5 here. This is it here. So I'm simply going to create a straight line here so that I can cut that part out. So making this part and this part, let me show you. Making this part and this part equal. Why this is now the pointy aspect. So this is it. This part must be equal like so. So now this is the pointy part now. Why this is the shorter part. And I'm just going to cut the waist out. And by the time we open it up, this is what we have. So now, if you want this pointy aspect to become longer, you add more. Like I said, you can add up to 5 to 10. Then when you are working for kiddies, you can just, think outside the box and look at what you want to create as a designer. Now, that's the one way of getting it. Now, if you are working with a flounce that has a pointy edge with layers, you can now decide, okay, I want the first layer to be so 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 length, the second layer to be so 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 length, and the numbers of the layer will determine the length of each step is going to be. Now that is that for that. There is another way that we cut it again. That's now if you look at this one now, it has just four pointy parts. This one, two, three, and four. Now, if I want it to be more, I could do that. So that simply means I'll be cutting it in another way. So this is my paper. I'm going to fold it, still maintaining the 360 and half, which is my radius. So I'm going to measure the half all the way. For the other one, like I said, if you want more pointy edge, now like this one we have just four. So if you want it to be more, now you can follow this style. Note that we've placed it, this is the 360. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring it like this again. So once I'm done with that, we are still working with half. That doesn't change, which is the radius of our waist. So I'm simply going to measure the half all the way and connect it like this. So I'm going to measure it again and connect it. Now, once we are done, the next thing is to determine the length of the skirt. Now, let's say I'm using two, 1.5 plus half is going to be 2 now as the shorter length of my skirt. I'm going to come to this side, measure it. Then I'm going to come to this side too and measure it as well. Now, I need to get the middle part of this place so that I can bring the pointy part here. Now, I'm simply going to measure this straight. I have 3 here. That means 1.5 is going to be the middle of this part, of this place now. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to use the total length here. So since I use 1.5, 1.5, so I'm having 318 here. So which is what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to simply connect the shorter part to the longer length like so. Then come to this other side and connect the shorter part to the longer length as well. So, and I'm going to simply look at it. This is what I have. Now, from here to here, I measure the mid part, and this is it. And I connect it from here all the way here. Are you getting it? Then, this is the shorter, this is what the shorter length is going to be on this side and on this other side. And I connect it, creating the illusion of that angle already. So I'm simply going to cut it out. So if you want a more pointy edges, now this is what we have. This one now has 8. The first one has 4. This has 8. So now this is how it is going to look. Now this is how it is simply going to look. So now we've done 2 aspects now, and we are going to move into the third one, which is the last way of achieving a square method. Part that means you are going to use this square to achieve a ruffle on the actual flea. So I'm working with a 360-degree flea. I'm going to measure my half inch all the way. Half inch all the way. And I'm going to simply connect it like so. So once I'm done, let's say the length of my skirt is 2. I'm going to measure the same 2 all the way. So 2 plus the half, I'm going to be having 2.5. So this is the 2.5. You know, I said the length of my flake is 2 plus the half which we have measured from the waist. So that made it 2.5. So I've shaped it like this, and I'm going to simply cut it out. So now we are using this as a skeleton for the square ruffle that we are going to be placing on this. So now this is the skeleton. I'm going to go ahead now and get a rectangle, or rather a square, sorry. A square, that means with a angle with all the sides equal. So let me just cut a little bit from this side. So something like this. So we are going to be using this to create a ruffle on this. So all the sides must be equal. All the sides must be equal. So you can just still cut it smaller so that I can have an equal side. So when you have something like this, you can just go ahead, fold it, get to the middle, then you place it on your fabric on this skeleton like this, placing it all round. So it's going to create a ruff. I'm going to show you a picture that looks like this. So you just place it all round. You keep placing it. You know, this is a paper, so it can't fall like it would if it's a fabric. So this is a paper, you just place it. That's the middle point. You bring it up like this, like you fold it this way. Look at it. This is it. I'm bending this way and this way again. So I'm just holding the middle, which is going to make this place drop like an anki. So, and I'm going to go ahead, sew it all the way, all round. So whatever layers you want to have, just go ahead, create your lines and sew it all the way on each step, and you are good to go. So I hope you understand, and if you have any question, don't forget to drop it in the comment section below. I'll be here to attend to you. So take care and see you in the next class. Bye bye.